from here I want to try to cover Esme Bianco. Just did a live, kind of just going to the things that she said when she was there for the Phoenix Act in front of all these legislations and people in California. I don't have a problem with the law that they're trying to pass, that they did pass. I think is actually great, and I think it's a really good one. Just what it serves is pretty much for the victims of domestic violence, men and women, to have more time, to go to the police to do restraining orders and to think about what they're doing. And because a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people don't react right away, and a lot of people don't think they need help right away. So this law, the Phoenix Act, will give you more time to get resources, to get out of that mindset, and eventually just be able to go and name your abuser and not be turned down by the police. Okay, that said, cool. That's great. I want to be sarcastic, but that is great. I'm not being sarcastic. That is a really good deal. I wish that this law was coming from somebody else, not somebody famous, and that they were not using it for this, for their own benefit, it seems like. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with Esme Bianco and the accusations and the things that she in the court of law is saying there, that they are completely true.
On one occasion, after 4 days of no sleep, he became very angry with me. He started smashing holes in the walls with an axe, and as I tried to calm him down, he began to chase after me with a weapon. It was at this stage I realized my life was in danger. I was a prisoner in his hell, and yet I thought I had done something to deserve this, so I just tried harder to please him. My trauma had normalized these horrific events to enable me to survive. It took me 7 years to get to the stage where I could see these acts for what they were: domestic violence. After a diagnosis of PTSD, the symptoms of which I still suffer on a daily basis, I started the incredibly painful process of healing from my trauma.
Okay. If she happens to have post-traumatic stress disorder, I'm really, really sorry. This doesn't have to be caused by Manson. This can be caused by years and years and years of working as an actress, working as a fetish model, which is what she used to do. Bondage and different situations, family situations, work situations. There's so many reasons a person can develop post-traumatic stress disorder. I know about that, and it's the one thing I know about, so I'm gonna just kind of trust my own ideas on this. That's for the diagnosis. She's diagnosing herself. I do not think that there's no proof of any doctor saying that she has what she has. She's not saying I have to take this medication during this time, and I stopped taking it when I was with Manson. I'm taking it again. So to kind of like leave a paper trail of the time she was taking medications or not. If she's not taking medication, and she has what she says she has, she's in trouble. So she should be taking it. Or she's self-diagnosing herself, which is something that people do a lot, especially in Hollywood. They have a hard time concentrating, and they go like, oh yeah, I have ADD, or they have mood swings, and they're like, oh, I'm bipolar, and there's a lot of that, and that needs to stop, really. I don't think she's talking about sleep deprivation and not be able to see her family, which I believe they're in the UK. The place being cold. Manson is a big fan of Elvis Presley, and Elvis was famous. This is really ridiculous, but Elvis was a pretty ridiculous person. Elvis was famous for having his room, and like every room in the mansion at 60 degrees, sometimes 60, 45, 50, 45 degrees. I mean, because he sweat, because he was a bit overweight, and he was taking a lot of drugs and a lot of pills that make you sweat, and he liked the cold. Manson got this idea from Elvis, and was really into the same thing. When you wear a lot of black clothing, and a lot of suits and a lot of makeup, yeah, you're gonna be cold. You're not gonna be hot and sweaty. Bring a sweater. I don't want to sound harsh, but they're talking about this weather abuse of weather. I never heard this before. Weather abuse. That they're making it sound. She's making it sound like she is being tortured in Cambodia or something with the ice bucket on her head. Something like that. I don't think that's abuse, and I think that she could have, let's say she didn't talk up to him about it because he was out of his mind, coke, drunk, and he said, F you, I'm gonna have it cold. She could have done something about it, and just have different outfits that are still be cute and more warm. There's ways to go about it. And then she talks about going to the closet. This one is interesting here. Going to the closet. I'm just trying to drink some of my tea for this part. Because wait, I just realized this like 2 minutes ago. She's going to the closet to call her family because Mr. Manson doesn't let her call her family at all. This is not so hard to believe that a jealous boyfriend that has a mental illness and a drug addiction like Manson doesn't like you to be calling people because he's jealous and he's like, you're mine, don't call nobody. Something happened to me and I'm not famous, and it happened to girlfriends and stuff. Like sometimes guys don't want you to be on the phone when you're with them, and like, who you calling? Like, no, are you talking shit about me to your family? No, don't call nobody. So I do not think that's so strange. But the fact that she says she makes it sound like she had to be in the closet calling. Okay. If my daughter calls me from the closet, or from any type of situation, I mean, you don't know what I do. I'm just like, I do crazy things. I would just jump on a plane on anything. I would just come here on my knees crawling through the Atlantic if I had to get my daughter. Period. She got to talk to them, as she says she did, and she was in the closet, and then she would have dinner with him, and they would hang out because remember the boyfriend and girlfriend, remember that, and then he put in the closet again, or she would be escaping to the closet to get away from him and to be able to make a phone call, because maybe from the closet the other person is on the other side of the mansion, they won't hear you. I doubt it. I think when you talk in the closet, it's probably louder than just an echo effect. The thing that I wanted to say that I've been in my chest, for somebody that has post-trauma disorder, which I'm sure she has agoraphobia, she has a bunch of phobias of being inside, phobias of being too dark, too cold, too bright, being confined. How did she just get in this closet on a regular basis to talk to her parents? Why? Like, you will think that she would just escape and be in the backyard behind the bushes talking to her parents. That will make more sense. Okay, that part really, to me, does it right there. I never thought about it, and until now, until a few minutes ago when I was making my tea, I was like, wait, she has trauma, a lot of trauma, that's what she's saying, but she can be in a closet and be okay with being in a closet using the phone for a few minutes without having a breakdown. That's just strange. That's me, my opinion.
The night terrors are the worst part. I wake from these dreams screaming, soaked in sweat mid-panic attack, and once the panic subsides, it is replaced with a crippling shame. The shame is overwhelming, the fear that I might somehow repeat past patterns and find myself back in the cycle. When I finally found the courage 7 years later to seek legal advice, I was told, despite having photographic, video, and written evidence, that it was too late. Nothing could be done. So I live. So I live with the daily knowledge that my abuser is still inflicting irreparable damage on other women.
Okay. It's hard to watch this. And hard to imagine there's a lot of women and men that are going through the same situation and don't have the resources to sit there and tell their story. First of all, she's crying. When people say, no, they mean it. These girls are totally the real deal. Don't you see them crying on Oprah? Or they are actresses. They cry. They know how to cry. First off. She mentioned 7 years. 7 years will be pretty much after he broke up with Evan Rachel Wood, all the way to 2011 when he started seeing Lindsay Usage, which is his wife right now. So she's talking about this soulmate love bombing. Some people say that he might be borderline because he just like gets on these women and promises their heaven in the first 2 months of the relationship. They have a relationship for 7 years. This is a part that maybe is my fault that I didn't research it. I don't think they had a relationship for 7 years. I think they were hooking up for 7 years. And I think that she was working here in Europe, doing Game of Thrones, doing other things, posing for some campaigns. I don't think they had a relationship for 7 years. And those 7 years, I'm not a Manson fan, but I know I'm a fan of other people, and I know that when you're on tour, you are there, like you're in a bus for like sometimes 9 months, 10 months out of the year. I don't think she was there with him. I don't think she got a 7-year relationship. They were hooking up and they were having sex and all this kinky stuff. I believe that. And maybe that's the angle that she should have used instead of this girlfriend that is hurt. Anyway, I don't believe the closet. I don't believe the trauma. I don't believe that she takes medication for it. I don't believe the sleep deprivation. Oh, the reason why I don't believe in the sleep deprivation is very simple. I mean, they invite you over, and the place is cold because they're doing a lot of drugs, and people that do drugs, they sweat. Unless you do heroin. When you do heroin, you don't sweat. I know this. So he's sweating, he's kind of overweight. He has the AC blasting at 40 degrees. Esme and such girls come over. Hey, there's some cocaine on the table. Just help yourself. Probably the best cocaine that you get. Then she did some cocaine, and then she was awake all night because she did some cocaine. And maybe she drank a Red Bull, and maybe she likes coffee. So saying that he made all of these girls stay awake like this with like pins. You were hanging out. You were having sex with this guy. You were on coke, a lot of coke. Cause Manson, I don't think Manson does a little bit, a lot of coke. We're talking. I'm not talking about now. I think he's sober, and I don't want to say that he's doing coke right now because I don't want people to come at me, and I'm really proud of him and his sobriety. But we're talking about 2010, 2011, 2012, a lot of coke. He will even go to interviews and make jokes about coke. He will make jokes about how he makes his friends and his bandmates, he didn't say the girls, but his bandmates and his buddies stay up with him because between 3 and 4 in the morning he really is productive, and he wants everybody to see his inspirations and what he's creating, because he cannot create during the day. It's not the first time I hear this. I hear this from Ozzy and even from people like Lady Gaga. Same thing, they just create at night. So what it takes is cocaine, that is, you take some cocaine. I don't think it was forced down on her. So the sleep deprivation comes from the cocaine and probably other substances like maybe meth or maybe energy drinks or whatever. They just, caffeine pills, stuff that keeps you up, keeps you skinny, not hungry. You need AC blasting because you're high, and it keeps you awake. It's not your boyfriend keeping you awake. Unless, even if the boyfriend's giving you cocaine, you're staying awake. I don't believe this sleep deprivation, communication deprivation. That's why she had to go to the closet. I don't believe that either. I don't believe the pictures. I think those come from Game of Thrones or some movie or some music video. She was working out with somebody else, not him. I believe that rope marks and a whip, and they could be done at any fetish club after hours that she could have attended. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shaming the kink and the bondage. I'm not doing that. So, at 4 points. I'm not going to get into the trafficking and how she said that she was trafficked right now because I'm not going to. It's going to be too long. But I'm going to be back to that because there's at least 4 things left. The human trafficking and the fact that she is friends with Evan Rachel Wood's ex-girlfriend, and things like that. She's talking about she needed to be nice to Manson because if Manson got mad, he was going to interfere with her work visa. No, you work in Game of Thrones. All that stuff is figured out for you. You don't need a work visa. So there's a lot of things that I'm not talking about Rachel Wood or the other girls. I'm just gonna focus on her. So then we can see she's like, the tree, and all the branches are just coming out of it, and all these people are ex-assistants or ex-girlfriends. It's just really strange. I don't want to say amazing because it's not. It's a crime, and defamation in America is a crime. Maybe in the UK it's not because they're big into tabloids and stuff like that. Here you go to jail. It don't matter how many movies you have under your belt. It no matter who you are, no matter how pretty you are, no matter how successful you are. You go to jail. If you don't go to jail, you have some type of punishment. You'll be on parole. You'll be paying fines. Eventually it's gonna happen. They're not gonna get away with it. And the more videos and the more we talk about this stuff without hating and kind of like in a light, sarcastic type of tone, I think it helps people understand it better. So we got a bunch of things on Esme Bianco that don't make any sense. Nothing. Until now, I'm waiting. I really want her to prove me wrong, and I'm waiting to see or to hear something that makes sense, but I haven't. And this has been going on for at least 4 months. Anyway, just subscribe me if you feel like it, and if you don't feel like it, don't subscribe. But at least make a comment or leave me a comment so we can probably chat for a little bit. Okay? Thank you.